This is the very best time for baseball, the heart of summer, when you're talking about amateur all the way to professional baseball. So let's celebrate it. Hi there, folks. My name is Darren Sutton. This is Perfect Game Weekly presented by Rawlings. And as we said, the heat all around our country means some of the best players are very active playing all around the United States at Perfect Game events and other events as well. But we're going to dial down on the Perfect Game Select Festivals on this show. They're about to roll out 11 all the way through the 14U age group, those great All-American games. And on this show, John McAdams will join us, the great youth leader, as we unveil the Perfect Game 12U Select Festival rosters and a couple of surprise guests as well that dropped onto those rosters. Speaking of Select Festival alumni, Ethan Holliday will join us. We recently caught up with him at the Sophomore National Showcase, and we're talking about holidays. How about Brother Jackson, the #1 overall pick? And that's where we'll get going with our road trip. Let's plug in, hop in, head out to California, and take a look back from LA at the 2022 MLB Amateur Draft. And let's start it with Jackson Holliday, the #1 overall pick. Goes to the Baltimore Orioles out of Stillwater High School. A perfect game All-American, went to 24 PG events. Of course, dad of both Ethan and Jackson is 7-time All-Star Matt Holliday, and just a thrill to see probably the greatest riser maybe Perfect Game has ever seen, all the way to the #1 overall pick. The #2 pick, Drew Jones. Diamondbacks take him, another ball player's kid, Andrew Jones, 10-time Gold Glove winner, and Drew Jones, a Perfect Game All-American. As a matter of fact, a 14U Select Festival member. We saw him at 72 Perfect Game events through 93 from the outfield last year. Ran a 6.360 FTB, Florida Travel Baseball, his travel team. The #4 overall pick, we love Termar Johnson. As a matter of fact, on our air on this show, he committed to go to ASU, and I'm sorry, Coach Bloomquist, in all likelihood, he's not making it there. The Pirates are where he will start his journey, out of Mays High School in Georgia. A very famous prospect, a Perfect Game All-American 2 times. He was a Select Festival athlete, stands 5'10", but generates massive power. 78 PG events. Washington had the #5 overall pick. IMG Academy's Elijah Green, the gifted outfielder. Again, a very famous prospect. His dad, Eric Green, a long and successful NFL career. We saw Elijah at almost 50 Perfect Game events. He, too, along with being a Perfect Game All-American, was a Select Festival athlete. The norm for this talented athlete was exit velo 100 plus. And consider this, 6'3", 225 pounds, ran a 6.1660 last year at Perfect Games National Showcase. Crazy metrics around Elijah Green. Interesting picks as we looked on down the draft. Dylan Lesko, one of the great arms in PG history, although the Buford High School alum had Tommy John surgery. The Padres still believe they took him 15th overall. And one of the great surprises was Mikey Romero. We love Mikey's journey. Heck, he came at a 14U California Showcase many years ago. The Boston Red Sox shocked us all by taking Mikey in the first round, 24th overall pick. Remember, his teammate with the San Diego Show, Marcelo Meyer, was the Red Sox #1 pick last year. He's having an incredible 2 years as a pro ball player. Marcelo Meyer, Mikey Romero, brothers reunited in the Red Sox organization. And by the way, a Perfect Game tip of the cap to Kumar Rocker. He, of course, was a PG All-American before a great Vanderbilt career. He found himself with the #3 overall pick. He's going to the Rangers. Great story. When we come back, we shift gears from the draft to youth baseball. We'll unveil the 12U Select Festival rosters. Northeast Crosschecker John McAdams will join us. This is Perfect Game Weekly, and we're presented by Rawlings. We welcome you back to Perfect Game Weekly. We're presented by Rawlings and celebrating the Select Festivals, the future of the game. And we're excited over the next month or so, the 11, 12, 13, and 14U Select Festivals. Knoxville, Tennessee, the 13U Select Festival, 14U, Labor Day weekend at JetBlue Park. All of them will be seen on CBS Sports Network. And to help us roll out both sides, we're going to start with the East roster, but to roll out both rosters, John McAdams joins us. And John, thanks for joining us, the Northeast Crosschecker for Perfect Game. How do you guys make sure you see as many players as you can see? How do you guys communicate so you don't really miss a great player?
Sure, sure. We just make sure whether we're throughout the country, just communicate if we see a player at our particular events that we're covering for that weekend, whether it's shooting an email over, text message, and so forth, just saying, hey, put this guy on the list. Make sure we do our due diligence, check up on him again. And then we have so many events now throughout the country. It's just communicating on a weekly basis saying, hey, this kid needs to be seen again. This kid needs to be on the list for moving forward. And then obviously we see them partake in these games in our events as we kind of move forward.
East roster, congratulations to all of these young men as we get to know the East roster. You're going to help us get to meet a handful of them. I'm going to start with Caden Borcherding. SBA is his team. He's from McDonough, Georgia. He's done great things through the last couple of years. A catcher, but also can play in the infield and pitch. Tell us about Caden.
Long, lanky kid. Like you said, catches behind the plate, but is multifaceted, positionally versatile, and really swings the bat. So he's hitting 475 this year with 32 extra base hits, 57 RBIs. It's a thing where you're going to start to see, is he going to stay behind the plate just because of his frame? Things that we like to kind of take a look at, but he's so athletic and so explosive behind there in the field at the plate. It's fun to watch for sure.
Carter Moon has won 8 MVP awards. He's the son of Kevin and Jincy. He's from Bogart, Georgia. He loves playing football too. Your eyes on Carter Moon. Who is he?
Carter Moon is like playing MLB The Show. He's got video game like numbers the past 2 years. And the thing about it is, with kids throwing harder these days from 50 feet, you literally see him flick balls out to left field, and then also can turn and burn on stuff. But the actuality of his numbers are astronomical, to say the least. But he's a great personality, multi-dimensional, can play the infield, has been up to 79 on the bump. But when you look at his numbers at the plate, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
So Jersey guys stick together. So tell us about a Jersey guy. Jael Santos, a right-handed pitcher, can play on the infield as well. His travel team, at least one of them, ZT, he's the son of Leonardo Acosta. Please tell us about Mr. Santos.
Jael's been a kid that I've seen a lot in the Northeast, but kind of was announced to the world last year with the 11U Festival, won the Home Run Derby, power-armed right-hander who's now up to 85 miles an hour from 50 feet, which is crazy to say. He was really good at PGI this past week for ZT Elite National, who took home the championship. He's got that little bit of Northeast New Jersey swagger type too. He's also a big-time quarterback prospect too. So
let's stop on Hunter Elmore. He's from Alabama, and he has done really good things. The son of Kevin and Shelley. Tell us about Hunter.
Big right-handed hitting first baseman. That type of kid who's now already big for his age. Hopefully he continues to advance, but he's just a hitting machine. He's got 24 homers on the year, 78 RBIs. Now the TGD backs, they play a lot of games, but consistently day in and day out, he just hits.
Motor City Hit Dogs, my favorite travel team name, and that's Colton Waters. He's a Michigander, of course. You guys have seen him at like 86 PG games. Outfielder, left-handed pitcher. Mom played college softball at Michigan State. Tell me about Colton.
So he's a hitting machine. He's hitting 589 on the year. He was outstanding at the PGI and the PG World Series, where he had 13 hits for Motor City, and hit 684 at the PG World Series, where they made a pretty deep playoff run. He's one of those kids. He's just got a keen eye, good back ball skills, exciting type table setter mentality, and it's fun to watch each time he's been with us.
I'll give you 20 seconds. Tell me about Camilo Gutierrez from Venezuela.
Kid we identified at the PG Series Classic, which is another one of our events that we kind of go from there. So it was an interesting thing, obviously being from Venezuela. Left-handed hitter, outfielder, has some bat-to-ball skills. Going to be fun to continue to see him grow as he plays more often here. He was at the PGI this past week with Jersey Storm, who's one of those teams that has made big runs at both the PG World Series. So he's going to be fun to watch, mature, grow, get back into it with regards to it, because we don't have a large sample size from him, but it's been pretty exciting to watch.
Thanks for the East. Hang with us. We'll introduce the West. But before we do that, let's reacquaint ourselves with the man who was part of the 11U roster last year. Carter Moon is part of this 12U Select Festival out of Bogart, Georgia. Hey, Carter, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Hey, congrats on returning and being a part of this great event this year.
Thank you.
What was your favorite part about the experience last year? Best 11U players in the nation. What did you enjoy about it most?
I really enjoyed hanging out with all my friends and making new friendships and just enjoying the game I love.
Now I want to talk to you about the 12U guy because you've actually turned 13. We'll get to that in a second. Where have you grown the most this year? If you were to bump into me and say, hey, Sut, I've really evolved here. I've gotten better here. What would you tell me?
Probably maturing and being a better person and teammate than I was last year.
And for you, pitch-wise, how have you evolved as a right-handed pitcher?
I've actually done a lot better this year pitching than I did last year. I've evolved on my off-speed pitches, and I've thrown that a lot more. Because knowing, like, high 70s isn't going to cut it all the time because they catch up on that. You got to throw off-speed all the time.
And why do you love this game, and when did you fall in love with it? Because now, playing as much as you do, you've got to love it. When did you fall in love with it?
When I fell in love, I was about, 3 years old. That's when I really wanted to start playing. I started playing T-ball, and it was real fun. I enjoyed it then.
And then why do you stick with it now? What is it that pulls you to work so darn hard? Because you got to get your grades too. So what is it that pulls you?
It's just I put in so much work and effort into it that I just don't want to, quit. It just makes me drive.
Absolutely. Hey, congratulations, my friend. I made this interview quick, and I'm going to go as quick as I can. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Carter. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you.
Carter Moon, a member of the Select Festival roster. I can't wait to see what he unwraps as far as those gifts go. We know we'll be watching him unwrap his game in front of our eyes. And when we come back, John will rejoin us. We'll get to know the West roster. We're getting to know the 12U Select Festival. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. We welcome you back to Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. Introducing now the West roster for Perfect Game's 12U Select Festival. And John McAdams rejoins us now to help us do so. You guys headed out west and you found a bunch of talented athletes at the events that are growing out by the Pacific.
That's the thing that continues to happen, and where we're able to identify more kids from all over the place. And like we talked about earlier, not missing kids. Just with the growth of the amount of events, the locations, is just aiding in finding the best kids.
Aaron Garcia, catcher, out of Pico Rivera, California. Please share more.
Monster hitter, hitting 481 with 76 hits, 45 RBIs. He was excellent at the PGI that just finished up for eventual champion ZT National. He does it on both sides of the ball, big arm behind the plate, but obviously the bat's the calling card as we kind of move forward here until we see where they end up.
Trip Riley, backyard is his travel team, 62 PG events. He's the son of Sarah and Brad. Tell us about Trip.
One of those kids who was really good on both sides of the baseball. He's got 90 strikeouts and 50 innings pitched, into the upper 70s from the right side, but also can swing it as well. Multi-dimensional in the field, 427 average with 53 hits, 44 RBIs, and 40 stolen bases, so he can kind of do everything pretty well. He's been fun to watch. He was really good at the PGI this week, too.
We had a Drew Jones go very high in the draft. We have a Drew Wilson that is playing in this event. Both Drews are talented. He's out of Porter Ranch, California. Please introduce Drew Wilson.
Dynamic athlete, just like Drew Jones. Does it on both sides of the baseball. Has a really exciting personality as well. He was outstanding at the PG World Series for SBA National. 4 homers, 16 RBIs within that event. And he's one of those kids who's an alumni of the 11U game now, so he's repeating. But every time we get to watch him play, it's just exciting on both sides of the baseball.
I'll always provide a platform for a Dodgers fan. That's what Caleb Alexander provides. He also provides the fact that he may be a future Dodger someday. Please tell us about Caleb Alexander. By the way, he's out of Houston, Texas.
Another outstanding two-way guy, into the low 80s on the mound, even though it's not his primary, but so big-time arm strength. He was excellent at the 12U PG World Series. 5 homers, 10 RBIs, 8 stolen bases. One of those types of kids. It's just extra base hits after extra base hit. Dynamic athlete as well, like Drew. That's what you're starting to see a lot throughout the roster. Guys that can do both things, both sides of the baseball, athletic at everything they do.
Pablo Martinez is the son of Pablo and Julimar, and he is from Puerto Rico. I'd love to know more.
Dynamic player too. Both sides of the baseball, was really good at both the World Series and the PGI. Right now, he's up to 78 on the mound, but the bat is certainly the calling card. He's hitting 525 with 11 homers, 55 RBIs in 2022. So every time he steps to the plate, something exciting is going to happen.
They call him Gonzo, and he's a returnee. 11U Select Festival when we talk about Angel Gonzalez. ZT, his travel team, LA guy. He's the oldest of 4. Gonzo.
Angel is smooth at everything he does, whether it's on the mound, up to 78, throw strikes, does everything well. At the plate, again, same type of kid. Extreme bat-to-ball skills. Will shoot it the other way, hit a homer here. Has a little bit of swagger to him, obviously, too. But everything's so smooth, fluid. It looks like it's just a walk in the park for him.
You got Washington in this roster, and I'm excited about it. And you didn't do it. Yeah, Braden Landry did it. I'm excited to know about the young man from Puyallup.
Fundamentally sound kid. Obviously, as you get in the Pacific Northwest, there's bad weather, so you have to do a lot of stuff inside. So he's really fundamentally sound. Extreme bat-to-ball skills. Was really good at the PGI this week for Scottsdale Dirtbags. So he's one of those kids. As we continue to grow the game, we're starting to get events more and more out there. So it's good to identify these types of kids. We had 2 on the 11U roster. Now we have another one on the 12U roster. So as we kind of expand, it's awesome to see how many different parts of the country, the world, we're getting top-notch players from.
12U baseball Rain Man, John. Thank you so much for your insights. Incredible stuff. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
It's a celebration of this event, certainly, and we celebrate a man who's on the roster. Aaron Garcia is part of this Select Festival roster. Aaron, we're hearing a lot of noise around you because you're at a PG event in Boomba. Congratulations on being named to this roster. When you found out, what did it mean to you?
Oh, it meant everything to me. This is all my hard work paid off. I've been working hard for this moment, and mostly, I can't believe we got the Natty champ.
Nice. Good job. Hey, congratulations on that with your ZT squad. Hey,
Thank
real quickly, dude, when did you fall in love with baseball? And kind of give us the backstory of when it happened.
Since I was like 2, 3 years old, I've been watching my brother. My brother played baseball; he was good, and then my sister played my sister played softball till she was 10, and just watching them play got me into the game. Started when I was 2, and I just kept going from there. I loved it.
Your dad, Rudy, is your coach with the ZT team,
Yeah.
or at least one of your coaches. Tell me about you and Dad, the coaching, the relationship, all of it.
Our relationship's great. Like even like every time, every moment in the game, I know what he's thinking. Like if an outfielder he has to move him right or left, I know what he's thinking. I know what pitch he's throwing most of the time. Like we just have good connection because I've been doing it with him my whole life.
We can't wait to watch you play. I'm a little biased. West Coast, Best Coast, Southern California,
Yep.
Aaron.
Yep.
Congratulations, man, on making this 12U
Thank you.
Select Festival.
Thank you.
Love it. Aaron Garcia, passion for the game. When we come back, a family that's passionate for the game, and we'll get to know Ethan Holliday, who was a Select Festival athlete a year ago. We caught up with him at Perfect Game Sophomore National Showcase, and there's a ton of celebration around his home because Jackson Holliday, his older brother, was the #1 overall pick in the very recent MLB Amateur Draft. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. We welcome you back to Perfect Game Weekly. We're presented by Rawlings, and our subject matter, the royal family. To be specific, Stillwater, Oklahoma's royal family, the Holliday family. Grandfather, Tom Holliday, college baseball coach, and a good one at Oklahoma State, NC State, and Texas. Matt Holliday, dad. Dad, of course, 2,100 big league hits, a 7-time All-Star, a Hall of Fame caliber career, and a Hall of Fame caliber man. Now, Jackson Holliday, 2022 Orioles #1 overall pick, a perfect game All-American. Hey, Ethan Holliday, you're up next. One of the top players in the 2025 class. That means his sophomore year is going to be exceptional to watch and where he heads. We're watching him very closely. After all, he's part of the royal family, and he's been watching all those other men very closely as well.
I just finished my freshman year. And that was a lot of fun. I hope next year to even do better than freshman year and continue to play in the summers and hopefully be the first pick in the draft.
With the first pick of the 2022 MLB Draft, the Baltimore Orioles select Jackson Holliday, a shortstop from Stillwater High School in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Jackson Holliday, he's super hardworking, he's a great brother, he's a really good person, but as a player, he's super fast, he plays the game smooth, hard, and he's really taught me a bunch, and he's been a really good role model for me, and I'm excited for his career, and I'm excited where these next couple months will take him. I got to be with him all year, so like the whole high school season, it was just me and him, and so just seeing how humble he is, how like dedicated he is, I mean, that's what he wants. He wants to be the best baseball player he can be. And I mean, just seeing the way he carries himself has been huge for me, and just every day. I mean, he went out and beat everybody at everything. And so I think that's just super motivating to me, just watching him.
High drive, deep left, take a good look. You won't see it for long. Big Daddy has done it.
My dad's Ethan Holliday. He's a great guy. He's a great dad. He's a great player too. Made a lot of all-star games, a lot of silver sluggers. He got snubbed with MVP in '07 when I was born. He showed up to the field every day and played hard. He loved it. He showed me and my brother how it's done, and he was really good for a lot of years. I mean, he worked harder than everybody. I mean, it showed every day he was dedicated and disciplined to be the best version of himself he could be, so.
Excellent. I have this last thing. I'd like for you to read this. So I asked you on a questionnaire, and you can just read it all. I mean, the first part is my question, and then go ahead and read me your answer there.
So you read this?
You can read the whole thing.
When we run into you in 10 years, what will your life look like? Please describe. Have fun with this.
Here's his answer.
Hopefully in 10 years you will need me to hook you up with tickets to watch me play in St. Louis. Another holiday hitting bombs for the birds. I said that?
You said that!
Oh man, I don't think my math was right, but.
You think it'll be sooner than 10 years is what you're saying?
Yeah, hopefully.
So they say, by the way, that Ethan is the most dangerous with a bat in his hands of all of the holidays. And I want to make it clear, Ethan, when you do leave me those tickets, and please make sure they're complimentary, you could also throw in a couple of really good hot dogs and maybe a couple of IPAs to wash them down. Ethan, thanks for doing that interview with us. And your dad, Matt, who helped put together that interview as well. John McAdams, thanks for your insights and introducing us to the best 12U players in the country, names like Carter Moon and Aaron Garcia, who joined us on this show. And if you've enjoyed this show, watching on your regional sports network, grab your smart device and find perfectgame.tv 24/7. We're devoted to amateur diamond sports, baseball and softball. We'll see you soon at a ballpark near you. Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rollins.